After ancient Rome, my second most favorite period in Italian history and in history as a whole is the Renaissance period of Italy, because it was a sort of period which engulfed in a way of war that was way above the typical historical way of fighting a war that we know. Something above weaponry and cunning and politics and whatever. It was a war of intellectual power. It was a war of visual and religious power. It was just a war of reason and thought and consciousness, which transcends the typical, gore that you would understand by warfare naturally. It was a period where popes and powerful, kind of mafia families in Italy fought between each other and with other forces in the world via arts, via an explosion of masterpieces and gods of the visual arts. Two of my biggest idols in life are Leonardo da Vinci and, of course, Michelangelo. And in my head, they have always been kind of fighting with each other about who's better. To put it simply, I cannot pick one myself, and I'm the person who always has to pick one. I don't even know why. So I thought of my next painting would be kind of a resolving of this struggle between the two. I decided to combine them in one painting, one canvas. I started it with oils because usually in recent years, I've been practicing my oil paint skills. You can see I kind of turned my room into a, makeshift gallery of sorts. I have an unfinished Titanic there, and this is my Star Wars painting and my other typical drawings with pencil. But this one that I started now is a little bit special because I turned to the classics and I tried to imitate them, and I tried to be as good as them, although I know I suck in comparison to them. Anyway, in one canvas, I decided to bring together the two gods, of my consciousness, Michelangelo and Leonardo. And when you think about their biggest masterpieces, these would be the Mona Lisa by Da Vinci and, of course, the Sistine Chapel. Now, why have they been fighting in my head? Why can't I decide to just pick one and say that he's the better one? Because I always think about the aspects of their life that made them unique. For example, Da Vinci was an amateur, biologist, physician, physicist, and whatever. He loved the human body. He scavenged, corpses and whatever, to trace every single curve of the body, every single muscle, every single little detail in the human anatomy and outer appearance. And you can see it in the Mona Lisa, all the delicate little wrinkles that she has and the curves of her face are just breathtaking. And then comes Michelangelo with the Sistine Chapel, who is not so keen on giving the exact realism level of every single detail in the body, but gives you just epic scale. The Sistine Chapel as a building, I think it was 21, 25 meters high, and he drew its huge fucking ceiling. And the Last Judgment, which is on one side of it, a whole freaking wall, 21 meters high, with one huge fresco on one huge painting of the Last Judgment, and the central figure there, which is Jesus. Michelangelo was a man of epic scale, and Da Vinci was a man of epic detail. And this is, excluding the fact that when it came to the level of realism, Michelangelo applied his ability in that when it came to his sculpture, which Da Vinci didn't do. But I'm not going to go there because I'm trying to, kind of level the scales a little bit. To cut my blabbing, in this final painting that I'm doing now, this is a combination of the Mona Lisa and the Sistine Jesus. Now, I'm going to be uploading pictures for you to see, up close what I'm talking about, and to give you a gist of what the final product is going to look like. at least relatively. But this is how far I've gotten to it now. I started with the Mona Lisa first because I paint with my right hand and she's in the left corner, so there you go, she came first. This is going to be her side of the picture, this is going to be the Jesus side of the picture, and you can just make the outlines of his face because I've not started him yet. But I hope this will be soon, because usually I'm very slow with my creative process. I'm usually very tired and lazy, so it takes me a long time to finish one of these. But I've only been painting for a few days now, and this is what I got. She can now see me. My baby has eyes, and the thing is that she's not turning out like, as precisely as original as I want it to be. But then I realized this is what being an artist is about. You just copy the masters as much as you can and add something from yourself. Your imperfection makes you unique. Yeah, you add your own imperfection and inabilities to the mastership of your gods. In this case, the Mona Lisa. I mean, who the fuck could make a perfect copy of the Mona Lisa? Here she is with the eyes. So I missed on the yellowish tinge of her skin because it just seems to me that it's unnatural. I mean, I love it on the original, but I wouldn't apply it to my own painting. So I gave her the natural skin color, and this, made a snowball effect where I just had to change all the shadows and, the shade of her face and the hair as well. She's not this yellowish in my version, and her eyes are kind of different. I think I made her more smiley or whatever. But this is what I'm getting so far, and because I'm usually used to, being too critical of my stuff and repainting it and reworking it over and over again until I want to kill myself, this time I decided that I'm not going to do this, that I'm going to just leave my abilities to cope with what they've got and add my own imperfect elements to the perfect base. I will try to add my own shit to the gods and see how it turns out. And of course, this is a painting dedicated to the both of them and to their, it's kind of my tribute to make them shut up in my head, to make the voices shut up, and resolve this issue for myself and have them all on one canvas, looking happy and looking satisfied with themselves. And because they also fought in real life, maybe this is a contribution to the to the spiritual world, which I don't believe in, where they are standing now and fighting still with each other, I guess. Maybe this will make them, kind of resolve their differences in heaven as well as in my head. So this is my my current painting, and I'll probably be uploading progress samples of it to see how it's going. But for now, this is it. And in a separate video, I would like to talk in detail about my fascination with the Renaissance as a whole, and just continue this topic because I feel kind of guilty and lazy for just delving too much into the ancient world of the Romans and forgetting that the more recent history of the world is also worthwhile, delving into. So, thank you guys for watching. This was my last nerd contribution.